Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Copperport. So, that's February done. There's been a whole bunch of backstage work going on this month. And a hell of a lot of it's been code stuff that doesn't really give me too much to show off with just yet. But some of it's also worth a little peek. So, because of this, I'm going to do things a little differently this month by cutting back and forth between various scenes. And this is mainly because what I have to show you is spread out amongst other stuff you've already seen, but also because I want to be careful about not spoiling anything. Oh, one thing I can show off right from the start though is we have a working save function. Yep, we can now simply hit continue and jump straight to the last save of our gameplay, which is about time, quite frankly, but we got there. So I've coded checkpoints into the picking up of any inventory or evidence items, along with the end of any dialogue scene as well, so basically any progress and it's immediately followed by an autosave. It's kind of annoying that it's taken me months to fix this, even more so that once I did it actually turned out to be pretty simple, but we got there in the end. Right, so it turns out what was happening is when the game exited, all the labels which said which objects and characters were which was just straight up getting lost. And so obviously once the game restarted, it had no idea what was what and where it was supposed to go. But yeah, I chucked in one line of code and gave it the computer equivalent of a kick in the backside, and it seems we're now all good. This is also doubly great news, as it also resolves an issue I've been having with loading new maps as well. And on all my previous stuff, we've all been limited to just one level and location each time. But this little fix means I can now have as many as I want, which is brilliant. So this is going to make adding in the later crime scenes a hell of a lot easier. And it also does take off some of the memory pressure as well, so I can have a little look later on about adding in a bit more detail to the visuals too. So this is all brilliant stuff, it's all pretty exciting. I'd say it's not exactly thrilling to show on screen, but it will make a difference in gameplay. Anyway, that's the big breakthrough out the way. So what have I been adding to actual gameplay? Well, mostly it's been stuff. A whole bunch of stuff. In Heartless, we now have 20 evidence pickups, all made and completed, scattered around the crime scene, each with their own examined screen and details. If you saw this newspaper in last December's video, you'll get the idea. We got a bunch of details, some of it world building, some of it just gumph, and buried in there, always something significant to the story. But that's half the fun, is leaving it for you guys to dig around and try and uncover it. There's another 19 of these items thrown around the place, each one giving you a page of details and drip-feeding little clues into the story. They're not all necessarily in their final world positions yet, but they are all in there somewhere, ready to share their little snippets of the larger story. I mean, we've got traditional notes, scraps, paperwork, maps, random seemingly unconnected objects, and even a radio broadcast, which was a first for the series, and kind of a hell of a lot of fun to make, actually.
And in other news, the Ravenwood Institute is back in business after their 9-month refit. With speculation still rife as to the cause of last year's fire, the Institute have been quick to dismiss the rumours, which have ranged from insurance fraud right the way through to covering up alien experimentation. But barring intervention from Little Green Men, officials are set to cut the ribbon on the new laboratory complex later this week. You're listening to MBR FM, and this is The Shortcats.
Don't worry, I'm not going to be doing all the voices. I do actually have real people lined up for that, but I thought it'd be fun to just stick myself in there as a DJ. On a similar note, we also have all 11 inventory items scattered around the place with hand-painted icons that took forever to get made. These items are essentially the ones we'll use to pop open doors, lockers, unblock a toilet in one instant, and most importantly fix the lift so we can get all the way up to the top floor. I have built the secondary crime scene much up there, along with a bunch of other stuff, but I think I'm going to be keeping what's up there to myself for the time being, so as to not go spoiling anything just yet. Although that being said, the file is up on the Patreon, so any of you patrons out there, there's nothing stopping you going up and having a look for yourself. You will of course have to find all the right tools first, but they are scattered around the building somewhere, everything you need is there. Oh, and on a side note, the lift has a working display as well, which is completely irrelevant and not important, but I just think it's kind of neat. Speaking of patrons, it's time for an official thank you and shout out to this guy, Mark from Earth, who is the latest one to sign up. So, Mark, thank you very much, and this month you'll be getting access to an extra evidence item in the form of our victim's autopsy report, full music track of the one you heard at the end of that radio broadcast, 2 character sheets with art and backstories, and of course, access to the game file in its current state. So, once again, thank you. Back to what I've gone and done this month. Focusing on inventory items, I've been through the witching hour and added them all in there as well. Still needs a bit of a tidy up, but the core puzzle loop is finally complete, right up to the big climax. Hopefully we'll get a bit of a chance to look at that in detail and delve in a bit in the next video, but for now, like I said, it does need a little bit of a tidy up first. No, and while we're jumping from game to game, I haven't really mentioned it much, but the third title I'm working on has also seen a bit of attention this month. It's still in its very early stages, this one, but Dead End has seen the completion of all the base elements of its map, basic lighting, glass, doors, and also the addition of a very simple new mechanic that just allows the player to get into vehicles and have a bit of a mooch around inside. I figured this would be a fun environment to introduce, as there's just something I find a bit creepy about the whole being in a car at night. It's something about that whole tiny environment with a sea of blackness out the windows. Bit cliche, I know, but it works for me. Anyway, Dead End is nowhere near together enough to properly introduce you to yet, but it is on the way, so just know that. So, I think that about covers everything for this month. Has been a bit of a short one, because as I say, there was a lot of code stuff in the background that I can't really show you yet, but it will pay off in the long term. And there's also things like, coding to streamline and improve the frame rate and improve texture resolutions, that sort of thing. That's all been going on, so you should be seeing the end results of that soon. As for the big question, I guess, is what's planned for next month? I'm kind of in a bit two minds of this one. On the one hand, I really feel we're overdue another Witching Hour video, especially with all the bits and pieces that's going on there that you haven't seen yet. But on the other hand, there's a good chance that with a push, I can get part 1 of Heartless pretty much done by the end of next month. So I'm still umming and ahhing as to which one of those I'm going to go with, but I guess we'll have to see how it plays out. But anyway, if you are looking to see what comes up next, you can subscribe to the channel down below, hit the notification bell, hit the like button, all the usual gumph. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Granted, I've been a little bit behind recently on those two, but I will be diving back in and catching up soon. You can also play my earlier games on Itch.io and check out the Patreon, All the links are in the pinned comment, and you know how all this works. I need to get back to work, so until next time, take care, and I'll see you then. Goodbye.